made and the whole coalition to pinpoint and try to change the dynamic around public assistance and what people need to survive. Now, that was in 2021, and we crafted legislation to provide increases. We talk about how much costs have risen in just the past couple of years, but these amounts have not been increased in decades. The last time people received an increase in the money they have available to spend on basic needs was 2011. The portion of the grant designated for utility costs was last increased in the 1980s, and single adults still receive only $14 a month for this. Now let's be clear, the goal of public assistance is to provide those in need of enough economic security to survive and work toward lifting themselves out of poverty. But how can we expect anyone to climb out of poverty with just a few $100s a month? We heard about that just before. It's unreasonable, but it's also ridiculous. Every time you turn on the TV, read the news, you've heard about inflation, the increased cost of living that is impacting people nationwide. People can't pay their rent, people don't have money for groceries, medical needs. People can't afford anything with this paltry amount of money. The state controller in December 22 found that poverty rates have hovered above the national average in New York State since 2014. This has the largest impact on families with children, women, heads of households, people of color, and people with disabilities. And we know that COVID made it only worse. So my legislation, which is A5500 and A5507, will change how much people get to a level that isn't what they should get, but a level that is climbing so that we can meet inflation, we can have a reasonable amount so people can live without worrying about where their next meal is coming from. A single parent raising 2 kids would still receive just $336 a month, but no family with 2 children can get by on $11 a month. So these bills were needed years ago, but it's extremely urgent now. If you've read the reports, who is leaving New York State? People with low incomes and people who are middle income. So who does that leave? That leaves the very wealthy, and that's about it. People who are scraping, working many jobs, living in uninhabitable apartments. We as a society must do better, and we can do better. We just have to dedicate the funds to where they belong and not to projects and corporations and wealthy people who don't need a break. You know, they can handle things themselves. We need to help those who are struggling so they can lift themselves out of poverty, which is what everybody wants to do. And we've heard stories about people who were on public assistance and now are heads of global businesses because they needed help at a certain point in time. It's not shameful. It's what we as a government need to do to care for the people who live in our state. So remember, when you were listening to Whitney Houston on your Walkman and watched Beetlejuice on your VCR, we haven't changed the rates since then.
Wow.
What does that tell you? That tells you it's time to
Increase gotcha assistance.
Now, thank you all for coming up here and meeting with my colleagues and telling the governor, this is what's important. This is what a moral budget will include. So thank you all for your
Thank you.
We have a slight change order. We're gonna, Assemblymember Epstein wants to say a few words and has to go to another meeting, so we're gonna
Yes.
let.
So we live in a state where 1 out of 4 children are hungry every day. Think about that. That, you know,
think about 4 children in your lives. You know, think about 1 of 4 of them, they're food insecure. You know, the food pantries by my office and by my house, the lines have doubled and tripled. You know, instead of serving 250 people a day, talked to the church the other day, they're serving 850 people every day. These are the stories of New Yorkers who just don't have the resources to survive. And the question we have to answer to ourselves is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to continue to ensure that people who are on the lower income scale remain in poverty and struggle, or are we going to do something about it?
We're gonna do something
We're
about
gonna do something about it.
We need to do something about it. It is to say, people who need more deserve more, because that's what the society cares about. And that's what we're all talking about here today. By increasing cash assistance, we're saying to people, this is the situation you're in. We're not going to punish you. We're going to understand that, and we're going to help you to get out of that situation in the long run. This is a transition time, and so many people, friends and family, need cash assistance in their life because that's what they needed in their lives. And that helped them. Some family members are still on cash assistance because that's what they need, but some people have been able to manage to get off it. This is not a set of standards that we want for the rest of our lives. We don't say to people, we're going to ensure that you're down and we're going to continue to beat you by go down. And like Maritza said earlier, and then we don't understand, like, you need to steal a loaf of bread because you need food and we're going to put you in jail, you know? These are real stories that people have every single day. So the way to solve this problem is to increase cash assistance now, ensure that we support our families, provide the real support we need for the future, and work with people going forward in our community. Are you going to continue to fight for this?
Yes!
Yes! 1 more month to get it done. You're going to keep coming back and fight with us?
Yes!
We'll get it done this year. Thank you.
That was very powerful words.
Assemblymember Epstein.
Assemblymember Epstein, thank you very much for those powerful, powerful words.
Yes.
And thank you, Ms. Rosenberg, for talking to earlier. Okay. So the next person that we're bringing up, his name is Joe from FPWA.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone, and thank you for coming out today. When I spoke to someone earlier this month at the legislature, and I said, what are you guys doing about cash assistance? And they were like, well, we haven't heard about cash assistance. You guys need to make some noise. So now, here we are making noise. So what do we want?
Cash assistance.
Here we are making some noise about it. I'd like to thank the organizers. I'd like to thank all the legislators that came out today. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you for making some noise. Thank you for championing the cause here. At FPWA, we have been fighting for the rights of Black and brown, poor and low-income New Yorkers for over 100 years, which is about the same length of time that the cash assistance hasn't been increased. You know, it's kind of disgusting that when you think about it, if cash assistance, the last increase was a child, it would either be in middle school right now or graduating from college. Isn't that ridiculous? We at FPWA have been championing this cause. We've written a number of reports about it. We've interviewed people about it. We've talked about it. We've spoken about it. We've worked with legislatures and policy advocates and experts. But most recently we've gone out and we've talked to people who are impacted by cash assistance. And do you know what we've heard? Things that would make you break your heart. Parents who are sacrificing eating because they want to make sure that their kids have food. Parents who are not taking proper hygiene because if they take proper hygiene, their kids won't have school supplies. Or if they are having a full belly, that means that their 5-year-old starves that night. That is ridiculous. That is abhorrent and morally reprehensible in a city, in a country that is the wealthiest in the world. We should not be making these sacrifices on the backs of the poorest, the lowest income, Black and brown New Yorkers. This is absurd. So, I'm here. I thank you. I thank you for making noise. I thank our legislatures for making noise. We are here to lift up the voices of all of you and all of the people who are impacted those who need the most, and we are here to bring that to the forefront to help you all to speak your truth. And so, again, what do we want?
Increase cash assistance.
What do we want? One more time, what do we want?
Increase cash assistance.
When do we want it? All right, thank you very much, and thank you for taking
Thank
this
you.
opportunity.
Thank you, Joe. That was a very powerful speech that you brought today in your own words. Very powerful. So this next person is very important. He's been very supportive of increased cash assistance for God knows how long. I'm going to bring Milton from Vocal, New York. Show your love. Show your love.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Well, even though Rouge warned me, it's still a bit of a shock every time I actually speak. Of course, my name is Milton Perez. Today I travel from Brooklyn, but I represent the Bronx, Puerto Rico. I'm a member leader in Vocal, New York's Homelessness Union, and I spent over 5 years in the shelter system. As far as cash assistance, that's one of the surprises that, it's in 45 days that you find out after, applying, going to the back to work program. Some of them is 9 to 5. And I was familiar with Medicaid. So when I saw $45, I was a bit confused. As many people are. Luckily, I did have some needs. But I know many people that did it. In the shelter system, there's all kinds of people, young and old. And a lot of people have no means. Family is not there for them for whatever reason. And they depend on this. How this decision was made to cut the 180, that's what it is for years now, to $45 to some of the most vulnerable, needy people. I don't know how that came to be. I like to find out sometime in the future. Before then, we gotta increase cash assistance and do it now. So that was early in the game. Like I said, over 5 years in the shelter system. I stopped counting in 5 years because new people coming in will not believe that people could be in the system so long. And a lot of those people wound up spending 4 or 5 years in the shelter system themselves. So I do whatever I can to spread the knowledge. We got to know what's going on for us to be able to make change. So during the pandemic era, being in hotels, pardon my back, a lot of people that are called service resistant came into the system because of COVID. And that was my wake-up call on how difficult things are, because the shock on their faces on these folks that never dealt with HRA or DHS was sad. A lot of elderly people that had health issues were counting on this money to get a phone or pay their phone, get a mental part or something, and they wound up getting for $45 a month, $22.50, $20.50 sometimes, because we all know they make mistakes and they want to recoup or whatever. $20.50 for a long time. Yeah, they do a lot of things. We got the lawyers here. I think there's some lawsuits in here somewhere. We got to look into. But yeah, so also in the shelter, of course, it's difficulty, because one of the pillars of HRA, if you look through their websites, they want people to be independent. How can you be independent and you're not given the resources to, take those steps? Why are you giving that part of the grant to the shelter, besides all the other money that they get? 4,000 or 5,000, I never really got a specific number. So yeah, going into the hotel era, being in hotels before, of course you get free Wi-Fi. So you get $45 a month, it's difficult to pay your phone, stay connected, because $45, you might get the $20, $25 plan, and you get that circle towards the middle of the month. You can't get on the internet. So another thing that I was part of, the Vocal was part of, is something we call Wi-Fi for the homeless, Wi-Fi for all. It's a bill right now that we have here in opening that it looked like it may pass, and then we'll provide Wi-Fi access for people in shelter. There's a lot of important things that we got to get to, but this to me is important because it demonstrates how broken the system is, that in 2024, you can't get Wi-Fi in a shelter. It makes no sense. So I'm here to, to join this fight, which we've been fighting for a couple of years now when I heard about it. But the momentum is building, and the reason that I'm here and you're here is just, when we fight, we win.
When we fight, we win.
When we fight, we win. Thank you.
We're now going to hear from Larry Thomas from the Urban Service Center Safety Net activists.
Hi, Larry.
Thank you.
Not
Thank you for participating in this. I'll tell y'all a personal story. I was incarcerated for over 2 decades. I come home, COVID struck, my fiancée, she passed away. I wound up going back in the shelter. I was a part of the lawsuit with Lucerne, the Lucerne Hotel. I wound up getting my own apartment. What's crazy is like tonight, matter of fact, tonight at 12 o'clock, my cash assistant's gonna save $55. My stamps is gonna save $291. Now with the $55, I'm trying to figure out what we do with that. I gotta pay Con Ed. I gotta do my laundry. I gotta get my deodorant, toilet paper. Travels, MetroCard. Like, that's gonna be gone within the next 3 hours. So what am I supposed to do for the next 2 weeks? Then, like the person is saying, I can't even buy a cup of coffee. With the food stamps, you can't buy nothing hot. So it's like you catch two, it's like you're between a rock and a hard place. You know, there's like a lot of brothers like myself that just came home, did 2 decades and better. It's a mental, it makes you wonder, like, why they let me go? Being hungry, I know what that is too. Because sometimes I gotta figure out, I'm gonna buy a loaf of bread, and try to put money on my Con Ed bill. It's at a point now, like I'm so messed up in the head sometimes, it's a point now that with this little 50-something hours I'm gonna get the neck, I can't even buy me their underwear, t-shirt, pair of pants, jacket. And they wonder why people get frustrated and start acting up. Because look what they do. All this money up at the top must be flowing down here to the bottom. By the time we get to the bottom, we like crabs in the barrel. We fighting to trying to get crumbs. Yeah, we need help. Yeah. We need a lot of help. Yeah. You know? So that's my spill, and like I said, I'm glad everybody here. We just gotta keep fighting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. So next we're going to hear from the Reverend Peter Cook, who is the Executive Director of the New York State Council of Churches. And let's face it, this is an issue, a moral issue, and we're really glad to have you here.
Thank you for coming.
It's nice to have my colleague from FPWA. You've been around. That stands for the Federation for Protestant Welfare Agencies. And they've been around 100 years advocating for poor people. We've been around since 1893 as Protestants gathered together to fight for poor people, and we're still at it today. So I just want to say that in the state of New York, we have the worst wealth inequality of any state in the country. That is a sin. And when we want to revitalize our economy, we just are addicted to giving wealthy people more money so that we hope that it's going to trickle down and help everybody else. We know that that economic theory is absolutely discredited, but unfortunately we have a lot of politicians on both sides of the aisle that are drinking from that supply side monetary policy, neoliberal framework. So what we're fighting for here is to say one of the best and most humane choices is not to give rich people more money, but to invest in those who are poor and the middle class. And you are not investing when you are doing this ridiculous thing with cash assistance. And it is part of an overall austerity pattern that we see, whether it's healthcare, whether it's housing, whether it's food assistance, whether it's cash assistance, whether it's legal services that people need, whether it's child care. All of this always gets squeezed because we just can't stand the idea of asking rich people to pay more money. So we need to pass this bill. We need to pass a lot of bills that really strengthen the social safety net and allow low wealth and middle class New Yorkers to use all of their gifts to contribute to their community and our economy by being lifted up. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
It was very, very powerful words. Thank you. Before we continue on, is everybody okay?
Yes.
Time check. Yeah. Organizing. So everybody's okay?
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so next, I'm going to introduce this very, very powerful young lady. And her name is Ethel from Housing Works / Safety Net Activist.
Go.
As Maria Teresa said, I'm Ethel Brown. I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah.
The only borough within Hartford. And I would also like to add on Vote for New York.
Yeah.
Neighbors together.
Yeah.
We will aid when we have our meetings. And I was receiving public assistance at one time, but at the same time, I'm still here because people are in need of raising the cash assistance. It's impossible for you to buy anything. I know this. When I go to the store, even if it's Target or even if it's, say, Costco or BJ's, I still can't afford certain things because I have to figure out, should I get this? No, get that. Toilet paper, oh no, because you don't have enough money to buy anything. And the way that the public assistance is as if they make you stagnant. You can't move. You're stagnant. You want better jobs. How are you going to get better jobs if you can't get enough car fare on your car? And then at the same time, you also have the Metro cards that they call fares. And I'm so glad for the different organizations that got together to do the fare. Sometimes I don't even have money, as Maria said, to put on my card. It's very insulting. It impacts your life. The system, you go in with some issues, you come out with more. You go in with none, you come out with some. And it makes you sick, literally. So you have the children who don't have Wi-Fi. That makes no sense. You can't even afford that. The ACP, I believe it is?
ACP?
Right, that's something important to have so that you can have Wi-Fi services. And it can drive you to get worse and worse and worse. And we recently found an apartment, but at the same time, it's like we were given $518 per person for furniture. You can't even get a good mattress, you know, for that. The other thing is some of the people who are vendors or the people that work in bodegas and delis, you go in to purchase and a lot of times you can't because they said the machine isn't working.
Yeah.
So what do? You gotta go walk a few more blocks or get someplace where you can buy things. So I remember several years ago, Congress people, I think it was Maxine Waters, they got together to see how they could survive on the amounts of money. And they said, no, we cannot survive off of this. So I challenge some of the people who are in the state assembly to see what this is about. We need to treat this as an emergency and to take action to immediately increase the public assistance grants amount.
Yeah.
When?
Now.
Order. Now.
Yeah. Woo, thank you, Echo.
Thank you, Ethel. That was a very powerful speech. I just want to say something real quick before the next thing that comes up. Since the pandemic, we have lost a lot of brothers and sisters. And because they've been in the shelter, or they was in the shelter, finally got housing, and unfortunately they have passed away. So I would like to dedicate to all our brothers and sisters that we had lost throughout the pandemic this press conference, and I just feel that it's important. I know they're here mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and it's hard. And I know Larry lost his wife. And, sorry.
Say sorry.
You don't need to say sorry.
They need to learn how to walk through the elevator.
I wish I did work for the Department of Social Services. So anyway, I understand it. But I just want to dedicate this special press conference / rally to all our brothers and sisters that we lost. Charisma's son, Sarah Wilson, Nikita Price from Picture the Homeless. My husband, Alan Granville. It's a lot to digest in, but at the same time, they're here mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So I just wanted to say that.
Rest in peace. Rest in power.
I just wanted to say that. So, back to where I was saying. Yes, we do have our last speaker, but I just want to say this again. My dream job is to work for the Department of Social Services, so to make sure that everybody get the increases that they need, all the documentations are in, and everything.
All right.
So, So, moving right along. So, our next speaker, of course, is Dina. And very powerful sister, always came to Albany for the since January. Trying to push, do increased cash assistance.
Now!
What do we want?
Increase cash assistance! Now!
What do we want?
Increase cash assistance! Now! Nick.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, I have to start by saying that when I brought this issue to the attention to Helen, our leader Helen, Helen brought this issue to the leaders like Mr. Susan Warburg, and she took it to other leaders for other non-for-profits. So I have to say thank you to them. I don't know the name, FPW, what's the name?
Joseph from FPWA.
Joseph from FPW, and that's that. when I brought the issue to Housing Works, to Mr.
Right here, Anthony.
Anthony, yeah.
I'm not done. To Mr. Charles King, Mr. Charles King, and
Charles
Anthony,
King.
they really jumped on board to it. To Anthony, Seth, Anthony, Seth, and Kayleen, and Seth. So thank you for supporting this. As Mr. Speaking so fast, Mr. King says that now Housing Work is going to put this issue together with other housing work issues. So I have to say thank you to them. That's why I came last year. Every time I could come with other groups, I came to push cash assistance with an increase. I have to say thank you to Milton, who pushed this cash assistance at Boca, New York.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Otto, who pushed this cash assistance on Neighbors Together.
Go, Eto.
And that's why I take the honor to Miss Linda Rosenthal, Community Ambassador, and I take this name with a great honor. So thank you, I'm gonna keep fighting until we win. Thank you.
When we fight, 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 all right.
And thank you, all of you, for being here. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
What do we want? Increased cash assistance. When do we need it? Now. What do we want? Increased cash assistance. What do we want? Increased cash assistance. When do we need it? Now.
We're done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you all.
so much.
Salude en la cámara. ¿Qué habla la señora? Special guest, Doña María.
All right. It was always part of you guys.
Ya tenía la misma queja que yo he tenido.
Oye, Doña María.
Ahí viene la reina, la reina.
I love it.